Hello, you're watching New Vision TV. This is news around East Africa. My name is Lynn Komjisha. We'll start off with South Sudan. South Sudan is paying tribute to veteran journalist and politician Alfred Taban, who passed away over the weekend at Nakasero Hospital in Kampala, Uganda. The cause of Taban's death is still unclear, though it is alleged that he had earlier suffered a stroke. A social media campaign has been launched to raise funds to clear Taban's medical bills and to transport his body back to South Sudan for burial. In Tanzania, authorities there have said that the ban on use of artificial nails and eyelashes will not be imposed among its citizens. The decision comes after an assessment by Tanzanian Food and Drugs Authority revealed that artificial nails and eyelashes have no side effects to mankind. Last year, lawmakers in Tanzania were banned from entering parliament with fake nails and eyelashes. In Kenya, legislators there have warned that the country is facing a debt crisis. The Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis has warned that the economy is already in red and reeling under pressure over 5.3 trillion Kenya shillings public debt. They further warn that the economic growth will continue to be in distress unless the growing public debt is managed through minimal borrowing and fiscal regulations. On the other hand, Kenya's Treasury says the country's debt is sustainable. News in Uganda. Uganda said it will not drop its plan to build the standard gauge railway amidst reports that Kenya may not secure funds to extend the railway line to Malaba border. Works Minister Engineer Monica Ntege Azuba said Uganda has not received communication from Kenya regarding the reported outcome of a meeting between President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Chinese leaders. Kenya is seeking funds for the third phase of the project covering the stretches between Naivasha, Kisumu and Kisumu, Malaba. Away from East Africa, we take a look at what's making headlines elsewhere in the world. We start off with Mozambique. Now, heavy rains battered northern Mozambique last week as residents and relief workers confronted devastation wrought by Cyclone Kenneth, the strongest cyclone to ever hit Africa, which killed 38 people and destroyed thousands of homes. Roads have been washed away, fields submerged, and many buildings wrecked by the storm, which came weeks after Cyclone Idai struck the Mozambican city of Beira, 1,000 kilometers to the south. Cyclone Kenneth made landfall late Thursday in Cabo Delgado province, sparking wind gusts of up to 220 kilometers per hour. A resident of Pemba describes how her house collapsed when Cyclone Kenneth hit northern Mozambique. The storm, the strongest cyclone to ever hit Africa, killed 38 people and destroyed thousands of homes. News coming in from Sudan. Sudan's main protest group called on Monday for civil disobedience and a general strike as meetings with the country's military rulers failed to provide any breakthrough on the formation of a joint civilian military transitional council. A tension between the two sides rose. The Sudanese Professionals Association said in a statement that the military had tried to break up a sit-in in the capital, Khartoum, where protesters are demanding a handover to civilian rule. It called on more civilians to join the sit-in for protesters to erect barriers to protect themselves. Now, the SPA, which spearheaded months of protests that led to the ouster of former President Omar al-Bashir on April 11th, is part of an opposition coalition that has held 3 meetings since Saturday with the Transitional Military Council. The two sides had been due to talk Monday about the makeup of the proposed body, but the TMC focused the discussions instead on the future council's functions and powers. In South Africa, South Africans voting for a new national parliament May 8th will have 48 parties to choose from, more than at any election since the end of white minority rule in 1994. Many more political parties are contesting elections for 9 provincial legislatures to be held on the same day. The African National Congress has won every parliamentary election since 1994, and opinion polls predict it will again win a majority of the 400 seats in the National Assembly, the lower house of Parliament, next month. But President Cyril Ramaphosa is under pressure to reverse a slide in support for the ANC, which has seen its share of the parliamentary vote drop from a high of more than 69% in 2004 to 62% in 2014. The ANC's biggest rivals this time are main opposition party, the Democratic Alliance, and the Economic Freedom Fighters, a radical leftist group. From the USA, International Monetary Fund Managing Director Christine Lagarde said that she expects the United States and China to reach a deal to end their trade dispute, which has unnerved financial markets and cast a shadow over the global economy. I would say yes, Lagarde said at the Milken Institute Global Conference when asked whether talks between the world's two largest economies would end in a deal. Washington and Beijing have been engaged for the past year in a trade war marked by tariffs on billions of dollars in goods and threats of escalation. The talks are now at a critical point. U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin was scheduled to speak at the conference Monday, but was headed to China instead for talks. Lagarde was the first speaker at the annual conference, which draws 4,000 attendees, including some of the world's most powerful thinkers and trendsetters, to discuss finance, healthcare, and other topics. News from China. A Chinese court has sentenced a Canadian national to death for producing and trafficking methamphetamine amid heightened tension between Beijing and Ottawa over the arrest of a Huawei Technologies executive. Canadian Fan Wei was a leader in the production and trafficking scheme, the Jiangmen Intermediate People's Court said in a statement. Another suspect, Wu Ximping, was also sentenced to death, but Wu's nationality was not given. The court also did not specify the gender of either Fan or Wu. The court also issued judgments against 9 other people, including 1 American and 4 Mexicans. It did not specify what sentences 5 of the 9 received, though it indicated the minimum they got was life in prison, and said the other 4 had been jailed, though it did not say for how long. Now, news coming in from Turkey. U.S. President Donald Trump and Turkey's leader Recep Tayyip Erdogan in a phone call discussed a proposal to create a joint working group on its planned purchase of a Russian S-400 missile defense system. A statement from the Turkish presidency said the Honorable President brought up the proposal to establish a working group regarding the procurement of the S-400 defense system from the Russian Federation. The White House confirmed Trump and Erdogan discussed Turkey's planned purchase of the controversial S-400. And that was news around East Africa and around the world. My name is Lynn Komjisha. Thank you for watching.